need to remember that every family member or friend that you do for free is taking money out of your back pocket. If you want this to be your business, it's not really a hobby, it's real, and it's costing your business.
Meet Ava Lashes,
an award-winning lash artist and educator.
Lash extension specialist. Ava has become a leading figure in the beauty industry.
When you're younger, like when I was young, I was 17, I'd get my 20 or 30 euro and I'd be like, 20, 30 euro. You don't think about all the costs that come out. And it was only when I sat down and actually got myself an accountant, I was like, oh my God, I'm making nothing.
People don't like to see you doing better than them.
Oh yeah,
there's
and
a lot of that.
You'll see your true friends. There is friends that will hate the fact that you're doing well, but they're not actually your friends.
People expect to do the course and look like someone who's in the industry or
so you will compare yourself to others. Like we're all like that. Like everyone has their preferences, and it's how you make people feel as well. Like I always say, like sometimes it's people don't even come to you for the lashes, it's for you.
What advice would you have for anyone who's like only starting
their brand? I actually have a really good one. Not everybody's going to support you, and I think you can't let that be the reason why you don't progress forward and you don't try and grow the business, because there is thousands, if not millions of people in this world that will eventually support your business when they see what you're doing, they see the work that you're putting in.
Thanks for coming on, Ava.
Thanks for having me.
So you were the founder of Ava Lashes and the co-founder of the Lash Market.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you start? Like how, like say, was your family in business or anything like that? Or did you just literally come out of school, not have a clue and just go?
Yeah, so it started when I was just finishing school. I had just turned 17, was graduating, and two other girls had gotten their lashes done. It was so new at that time, like barely anyone had their lashes done. So I had gotten them done then, and I just was like, I can see a bit of a gap in the market here. Like I was looking up lashes talent where I'm from, and there was only like 4 or 5 pages coming up. So I was like, maybe I could start something like that, because I think even in school, I always loved beauty. My mum was a beauty therapist, and every week it was a different Instagram page. Ava's hair, Ava's makeup, Ava's henna. Like I was doing everything, and then it wouldn't last. But no, I did the lash course, absolutely loved the thought of it and the course itself. And yeah, I just got 2 other jobs. I was working part-time in retail and the Aviva, and I was juggling the 3. I was due to go into college in September. So I was doing lashes at any point that I could. Like any spare hour that I got, I would try get one of my friends, sit them for 4 hours and do the lashes. So I just kind of started off with there, and after 10 months I was able to leave my jobs, and that was my solely income then, was the lashes. My dad has his own business, so he was just kind of helping me along the way, just little tips and tricks here. So yeah, it was good to have him there.
Yeah, I'd say
business,
obviously from his experience in having a business, that was a lot of help.
Oh, definitely. Like, and he was in the service industry as well, dealing with clients and stuff. He's a carpet cleaner, so
right, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just nice to have someone there that could help me, even with getting an accountant and talking me through those little things. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like though, like say if someone was listening to this now, I feel like a lot of the times people will turn around and be like, do you ever get your hair stuff like that? And they're like, oh, that's why she has it. But I wouldn't be.
No.
Yeah, so like just for anyone listening to this, you can go and find an accountant and get advice off someone. You don't need to have a family member.
My dad is always like, you're unbelievable. You ask me for help and you can do the complete opposite of what I tell you to do. I always do the opposite. I'm just so bad for it. So I've learned through my mistakes that way. I always like to kind of make my own mistakes first, and then I'll be like, yeah, you were right about that. So it's not always because, oh, somebody helped me out. Like, it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes it's hard to listen to like a friend or a family member, especially like when it is your say your parents. You're kind of like, oh, like should have.
And they were in, like, my dad in a completely different industry to me, so there was different things about the business and different. Like I was more social media, and he was like, put out your few business cards. I was like, no, social media is like where it's at now. So it was really different at that time.
Probably the different generations.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's completely different.
Yeah, like nowadays it's like it's content. Like I was listening,
changed so much.
I was listening to a reel or video, I can't remember where, but it was like some fella was like, the number one thing in marketing is content, and then everything else after.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah, 100%. It's amazing what your social media marketing and your content can bring you, and it's all free.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. Like you can like reach so many people from just like posting reels.
Yeah, 100%.
Not even like promoting anything, like organic growth. Yeah, your social media is absolutely unreal.
Thank you.
Yeah, you keep it to like a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
And anything that you launch, like I feel like you.
Yeah, I've always been very creative. Like anything artistic crafty. Like I was always very creative, like in school when I was younger. Always love creating things. So when I do launch something, I try my best to put my creativity into it, because you know yourself with lashes, to a certain degree, there's only so much you can do when it comes to, well, now you can do any styles possible, but I think it's good that I can put a little bit more creativity into it. So yeah, it's just me putting myself into the brand, really.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I can be like a bit impatient when I'm launching something and I just want to launch it there and then, where you're really good at like, you'll what's the word, not big it up, what's the word, like
just plan it, like execute it, and just I really do think about things, because I have like I've launched things on the spot and it hasn't worked out for me, and I think when I realised that, I was like, right, I actually do need to put a bit more effort and a bit more hype into my launches.
That's what I meant. Sorry, hyping it up like really well, because then people are wondering and people are going to want to look then when you do launch it, and that's a really good thing that you do. I've definitely noticed that with you,
and it does work well. So it's good. Yeah.
And like, have you had any like marketing, say advice, or do you work with anything for marketing, or just all yourself?
No, like only in the past maybe year, I've done like 1 or 2 strategy calls to help me with a launch. Like I do more like the creative side of things, but they might give me a structure of like, okay, you're going to post this on this day, or, you know, maybe post, I don't know, 1 or 2 things on that day, like, and give me more of a strategy, and like do this on Instagram, do this on TikTok. But I've only had 1 or 2 of them, but I always end up, I'm so bad for it, I'll ask for help and I'm like, my way is better. I'm always like that, but that's something I need to work on, is actually, if I ask for help, like take it, and you know. But I have never really had like a big background in marketing, social media. I just love being creative, and I think people always think, oh, she's definitely done like a course, or she has someone on her team. I look at an app and I click a button and see what it does, and then I just work off that. I'm just playing around with my phone, seeing what I can do, and I love learning myself and just pressing buttons and seeing, like, if I need a tutorial, I look it up. Like, I just do the most to try and get what I need to get in my head onto the phone.
Yeah, and I feel like TikTok and YouTube is great. There's so much free education on all that.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. Like it's really the information that you can get on that is amazing. Now some people can put false information on there, which is the only other thing, but it's amazing for like looking up tutorials, or if you need help with anything. Like there's free resources there for you.
Yeah, like I seen a video and I was like, I wonder how you can do that, and I actually popped it into TikTok. And there was literally like a 5-second video, like cut short, so you're not. Do you ever get when you're watching a YouTube video, sometimes you're kind of like being impatient and you're like,
get to the point.
Where like in a TikTok video, I literally found out how to do something.
It's just wanting to learn. I think some people look at the app and they're like, this is too confusing, and they just don't look at it. But I think once you get stuck in, actually want to learn how to do it, you can find it out. If you really want to find something out, you will, if you put in the work. Yeah, and like, what do they say? Like CapCut is literally like a free or like a cheaper version of all the bigger editing tools. It's amazing what you can do. Even during the week I was playing around, I was like, oh my god, there's a new thing that I've never, I think it was called like a voice enhancer, and it almost gives you the effect, if you like, we all use microphones now when we're recording our content, but there's a tool on it called voice enhancer, and it gives you that same effect that a microphone would. It blocks out all the background noise, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't know this was there. So you're just playing around with buttons and seeing what they do, and it could take your video from one extreme to the next. Yeah, and like did you see the teleprompter one? No. So if you have your front camera and you're say you're stuttering in front of the camera or whatever, like to help you, like if there's like a long video of you like saying something, you can actually type everything out and then it's on your front camera. And then it'll come up at the front of that. Makes so much sense.
Because you'll be recording yourself so many times.
Oh yeah.
And then like fuck, like earlier on I was trying to record a video. And then I wrote it in my notes, and then I was like, actually probably should have used that. Because then I had to stop, go back onto my notes, look back. But yeah, there is like so much like valuable and free education out there.
100%.
But yeah, so you literally just launched your new remover there. I feel like that was
the latest
that was
one.
unreal. I really liked that. The thought and the creativity behind that.
Yeah, that was probably one of my least creative launches. But sometimes I do get creative blocks where I'm like, I don't know what I could. Like other launches have been way more creative than that, but like it's normal to have creative blocks. I'm sure you're yourself, and you're like, what? I don't have any ideas. But yeah, I just try my best to not just put a photo of the product and that's it. I like to have a reel attached to it. This time I didn't have a reel attached to it. It was just the peaches.
Yeah, but it was nice. I thought it was good. So you mentioned you were doing henna and hair and all. I didn't have a clue.
I just used to try and learn something, and I'd offer it as a service. I was doing like French plaits and all for people going to Longitude in the summer of school, and then like I'd order henna online off like AliExpress or something, and I'd be like doing it on myself, and then I was like, Ava's henna, like I'm offering it now, but never did a course. It never lasted. And then I did makeup at one point. I was doing like Halloween makeup, and I just never really got into it. I think you need a course to actually really get your hands stuck in and know what you're doing, have your kit, have everything set up. So yeah, I always was very creative.
And how old were you when you were doing all that?
All of that, like 15, 16, 17.
Okay. So
and
you were only figuring it out what you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, my mum was a beauty therapist, so she had a room in the house as well. I was able to use that room for the first 3 months of doing lashes, so that was really helpful until it was turned into something else. I had to go into my bedroom. But I think just having that there, I was always trying to do something in there. My mum stopped being a beauty therapist, so it was just really handy to have. And yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
And did you go to college, didn't you?
Yeah, so I did business management in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I was sailing through 6th year, like, I don't know what I wanted to do. I knew it was something along the beauty line, but I think a lot of us, when we didn't know what we wanted to do, we were like, we'll just do a business because it'll just fall into anything. I kind of wish I did something more like an entrepreneurial course, because my course was more how to manage someone else's business rather than how to run your own business. I did that for 3 years. I don't regret it now. It really matured me, and it did teach me a good few things, and I met new people and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely good for me to do that.
Yeah, but I feel like it's completely different than what you actually learn in school or in college when you actually go out like working for yourself. It's like,
yeah, like I was learning a lot more about the business doing it than in college, like learning about business management or whatever. Like I learned so much more being a lash tech in my bedroom. It seems mad to say, but I was learning so much more and figuring it out as I go along through my mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for this podcast, we were saying that we were actually going to go with like giving advice to people in the beauty industry starting off, because I feel like you feel so lost when you're literally like after finishing a course. You've no clients. Yeah. You're looking at everyone on social media who's in the industry years, and I feel like it's very like,
it's hard.
Yeah. So I feel like you have a few questions that you popped it up on your story.
Yeah.
Do you want to actually even read out a few of them and we can even answer?
Yeah, perfect. So one was the struggles of being a beginner lash tech in an area with a few others. So that she's basically saying there's lash techs in her area. She's struggling to run the business or get clients. I think what I'd say to that would be like, don't compare yourself to those people. I think that's an issue that I had when I first started. I was like pricing my services based on somebody else's prices and thinking I was going to get clients through that, or like being competitive through prices. Back then there wasn't as many lash techs as there is now, but now especially you have to differentiate yourself from other lash techs within your area, because how are you going to stand out? And I think definitely don't compare yourself to anybody else, because everybody else has their own things going on, and they could be a lot further along in their journey. Like, your time will come eventually, and if you work towards it and if you focus on maybe having a personal brand, that's essential, like knowing your audience, knowing your own business, trying to stand out and differentiate yourself from other brands, because that's what helps a customer or a client to choose you over somebody else, and making sure you stand out. Because if you just keep copying what everybody else is doing, you're just going to fall into everybody else, and then you're not really going to stand out. So I definitely would say just don't compare yourself to anybody else. Keep working towards it, keep trying to stand out, upskilling as well, like making sure you're on top of your skills, learning more things, like so that you stand out over somebody else. Offering more in your services, so it could literally be that you have like a snack cart in the corner. I did that one time, just a luxury service that you give your clients to help you stand out from somebody else. Yeah,
like I see the way you said there, like what that girl said there in the question. I feel like it doesn't really matter if there's loads of people that do the same thing in your area. Like I was doing a delivery before for lashes. I used to just do the same day delivery and just drop them down. And I think I done a delivery to 4 girls in the same road. Yeah. and I didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
I only knew like one or two because they had a bigger social media presence. Yeah. It's not, I feel like nowadays it's not pass and trade. It's not about, like, there could be someone there, but they're just really quiet and they're just doing their friends and family. No one even knows about them. Yeah. So I feel like it doesn't really matter. I feel like just kind of posting.
Yeah, and I think it's your work as well. Like, everybody has a preference on work. Like, somebody might prefer the more fuller, more voluminous lashes that person could do, or somebody might prefer a bit more natural. Like, everyone has their preferences, and it's how you make people feel as well, like how you make them feel leaving your appointment. I always say it, like, sometimes it's people don't even come to you for the lashes, it's for you, like your personality, how you make them feel, how you make them laugh, or like you're just like an ear to that will listen to their problems, and they feel so much better after leaving your appointment. Or could be just how they feel on that bed. The lash tech 2 doors down could have the most uncomfortable bed ever, but you have this nice memory foam mattress and they just feel so much more comfortable coming to you over that other lash technician. So I think it's all about how luxury can you make your service, how do you make your clients feel, and the work that you provide with them.
I think they're not just in and out.
And yeah, social media is a massive thing as well. Like, stand out on social media and try your best with it. It's a great platform to be able to promote yourself for free. And I think if you can really nail that, like, you'll book yourself out.
And you mentioned there upskilling. Yeah, I feel like you could be in the industry years. Yeah. And just because you've done that one course and you're not upskilling, and you're not, like,
you fall behind. You really can fall behind, because trends come in and out, and I think people can see right through you as well. Like, oh, she's been in it for years, she's kind of not really bothered anymore, or she's fallen out of love with it. Like, I think someone can tell when you really have passion for something, when you love something, when you're putting your all into it, when you're upskilling. Like, nobody pays you to upskill. Like, you go and spend your money on upskilling. It really sets you apart from somebody else, and you can fall behind if you're doing sets of lashes from years ago and you're not bettering your skills and offering more of a variety to your clients. I think that's how you can fall behind.
Yeah, because it's not one thing suits all. Like, and I feel like I've noticed that I done some lashes the other week. I don't really do appointments. I kind of just do more courses now. Yeah. And that's all I heard off the girl. Like, they were just a big black strip and they were drooping her eyes. And when she showed me the picture, and I was like, well, these are the reasons why like, that wouldn't suit you. Like,
yeah, it's good to be able to tailor to someone's specific eye shape. Now, some people don't care about tailoring and stuff like that, but I feel like majority of people do want something that suits their eyes now, and that is more on the natural side, and that it enhances their features instead of overpowers them. And like all you look at when you see their face is just lashes.
Yeah, and I feel like appointments shouldn't be like, a lot of people turn around and be like, anytime I have a course and like I get them to do consultations and like go through all of that, what would suit that person when they come in, so they know how to do that at home. And half the time people are sitting there, I don't know what I'd be getting. I'd never get any of this done.
Last week I had a student there and she was like, oh, I don't think a cat eye suits me. I've been getting a cat eye. And I'm like, yeah, I can see like why. And she's like, I need to tell my client, my lash tech to do this instead and break it down or whatever. It is good to know yourself even as a client as well. Because then you know.
It should be like getting your nails done. Like, you know exactly your length, you know exactly what you're getting to a T. But
I think it's up to the lash tech to educate their clients on why I'm giving you a cat eye, or why you're getting a squirrel, or like a doll eye, whatever. Like, this is why I'm giving you this, because it suits your eye shape. You have a round eye, you have a downturned eye. Like, this is why you're getting this. And then they're like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's I think
it's up to them to decide if they.
It's nice as well for the client to go home and be like, oh, like telling their friends, like, I have this shape eye, and you know, they like knowing that kind of information, and it shows off your expertise as well as to the client that, wow, like that lash technician really knows her thing.
And then so going back to your products, so when did you launch your product?
I started looking into product development in 2019, I think. Yeah, and then I wanted to just bring out the aftercare for the clients. So the lash shampoo, I think everybody starts off with the lash shampoo, and then they get deeper into the world of lash products, stuff like that. I was actually a brand ambassador for a brand for 2 to 3 years when I was starting off my own lash technician, and I was promoting her products. So I knew what to look out for in a product, and obviously when you're at the forefront of using the products, you know what to look out for, you know what you like, you know what your clients want. And eventually, and I was just like, I think I could do it. I looked heavily into it. I was ordering samples and testing things, and I started out then. I launched that in 2021, I think, like the lash trays and stuff like that. I think I was more into like aftercare for the first year or two while I was building up the more lash technician side of things, and I just took off from there.
Yeah, what advice would you have for anyone who's like literally only starting
their brand?
Like, I want to bring out my own products.
Oh my God. I actually have a really good one. When I first started with the lash trays, I'd place a massive order, and when you ship something into Ireland, like customs can stop it and then they look through things or whatever. So I didn't realise, like, let's say the order was like 3-4 grand starting off, and I didn't know that the manufacturer had actually undervalued it and had put down €200 that was valued at for this big shipment of like hundreds, thousands of trays. And I didn't know, she didn't tell me this. So then it got stopped by customs. I get this letter or email, and they were like, we just need the proof of payment and proof of invoice. I didn't think anything of it. Didn't say, oh, we suspect that it's been undervalued. So didn't think anything of it. Sent what I actually paid, and I get a letter in the door. It was like a court summons of like, you need to pay this fine. The goods have been undervalued by like this amount. Like, yeah, you need to pay the customs, but you also have a €2,000 fine. I nearly dropped onto the floor. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, surely that's not my fault. I didn't undervalue it. So I was talking to the manufacturer. I was like, you need to pay this. I was like, what am I going to do? And they were like, oh, we can't do that. And then when I was talking to your man that actually was in contact with me with revenue, it was revenue that was dealing with all this. He was like, you're the Irish citizen bringing in the goods, so it is on you. And it was either pay the fine or else wait for a court date, because it's around COVID time, like you were waiting for a court date. And he was like, if you don't pay that fine within 7 days, we'll actually dispose the goods. So I was like, I could lose that case as well, because I obviously didn't know it was undervalued, and then I could lose all the products as well, so I just had to pay the fine. So I think if you are going to bring goods in on a bigger scale like that, make sure they're at the right value, because if it gets caught by customs and they're heavily undervalued, because a lot of them are thinking they're doing right by undervaluing. They're like, you won't have to pay much
bigger
customs
shipping fee, yeah.
or shipping fee. No, shipping fee is actually still the same, but it's when it arrives, like it's the customs that the more the higher
that's
the higher the value of the item, the higher the customs is. So you need to make sure, because I couldn't believe it. It just kind of ruined the whole excitement of bringing out the lash trays, and it was just.
Did you get say, because obviously you said that's how you started? Was that like was that before your samples? Was that obviously because you were starting?
That was the bulk order. That was the first bulk order.
Right, so after your samples, that was your right. Okay.
I found the lashes that I wanted, and the bulk order came in, and I was like, this is not happening to me. Yeah, so I would just make sure that when you're communicating with your manufacturer, that like you're aware of everything that's going on, that you are positive that you like the sample as well. I think people get excited. It is an exciting thing. People get one sample, they're like, oh my God, this, like, I see my name on it, and I get really excited, and they could just go with that one. But I think definitely order a lot of samples and make sure you've tested the waters. Like, it could be the difference of that manufacturer wasn't as great at communication, but this new manufacturer is great. They're giving me a massive catalogue. They're giving me all these options. They're really asking me, like, I remember the difference of one manufacturer to the other was one manufacturer asked me, do I pinch or do I use like Russian technique? Because that depends on the strip that they give me, whereas other manufacturers were just like, yeah, we'll send you out these. They're asking, like, do you like matte? Do you like shiny? Like, they should be asking you all these questions, or you should be asking them all them questions. Ask them everything. Like turnaround time, MOQ, all these different questions that you need to be asking them before you put in the
And I feel like
order.
then obviously then you get your, say you do try a few samples and you're like, right, okay, I'll just get these. And then you get them EU regulated, and then say it all goes to shit, then you have to get other products and get them EU regulated. So you have to do all that again.
Oh yeah, it's the longest. Bringing out products is the longest process, and I think you have to really sit down and be like, it shouldn't be quick and easy. If it's quick and easy, there's something
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, there's something wrong. Like, like listeners that are lash technicians will know, your inbox is flooded with Chinese manufacturer. Hi dear, we're the best manufacturer. In my eyes, I look at that and I'm like, why do you have to reach out to me for the sale? I should be reaching out to you. If your products are as good as you say, that They are. Why are you having to beg me? They're hounding you. They're like spamming you, and like it seems so desperate that like I'm like, okay, maybe they're like really desperate for sales because their stuff isn't selling.
Yeah,
it's always the manufacturer that I find through Google or like deep into networking that I find the best, because I've gone with them. I fell for it. Everyone falls for it at the beginning, and then I think it is to really find your own manufacturer, to build up your own relationship with that person.
Yeah, I had there was products that I was getting, and obviously went through the whole process, was ordering off them for a good while, and then there was one that actually took me money.
Yeah.
And then just didn't ship the order for ages.
Oh my God.
They gave me back the refund eventually.
Yeah.
But they just kept saying, we don't have the stuff in stock to make it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And
it has happened so many times, yeah.
And it was someone that I was using for ages, and I just had to discontinue the thing.
Or I put in an order and thought the sample was great. Like I actually bought the sample, that was grand, tested it out, waited months for it to come back, whatever. And then I had got them to send me out another sample with my like what do you call that, design and stuff on it, the packaging, yeah. And everything was grand. I was actually so long bringing this product out, and I got the bulk order and it was all crap. It was crap. Like I actually killed me. It was horrible, and I couldn't sell it, and I just lost out on thousands.
Yeah, there's another brand that I'll always like when I'm talking about this, I always mention, but obviously I'm not going to say. Yeah. That they had products for ages, like, and they're a well-known company, and all of a sudden people were saying that they went shy, that the formula must have changed. But
that can happen.
That can be the manufacturers and not even tell them.
Just saying, listen, we have this customer now. This customer has been with us for years. Let's just decline the quality a bit because it's a recurring cost, and like we've built up that relationship. We might get away with maybe adding a little less of that ingredient. You have to be on top of testing everything when it comes in, making sure that the batch is good, and it just happens. It's a hard thing.
And their products are out years, like, and they're like, they're absolutely unreal. Why would, and there was nothing wrong with the product, why would they change the quality? And everyone was giving out as if it was them. I actually felt so bad for them. Like, because I was just like, why would they change that? And there was nothing wrong with it. It was definitely the manufacturers. And I'd say they were absolutely in the height of that I would be.
Yeah, because it's your reputation as well. Like, your name is on the packaging, so.
And I say they lost so many clients and customers from that. Yeah. But we actually literally, we done one of the questions that you had there, and we literally just left it at that.
Let me check.
I actually should have done a poll. I said that to myself today, to this morning and yesterday, and I didn't even
how to deal with your friends not supporting you.
So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so like, I think it's important for people to understand that your friends and family are not always going to support you, but your friends and family are not meant to be your client base or your target audience. Like, you're only going to have the guts of, you might have a few friends and a few family members that might like to get their lashes or nails or whatever done, but it can take up to like 60, even 70 clients a month. That's a random number off the top of my head, to be fully booked. If you're working full time, let's say, you're not going to have 60, 70 friends and family members. They should not take up your client base. And if your friends and family don't want to support you, like, you have to be willing to get 2 likes on your picture to start off with, to have no one sharing your posts. Like, you have to do the work. It's you running the business. It shouldn't be everybody else running it for you and helping you out. Like, you need to struggle at the beginning. You need to be prepared to struggle. I just think, like, I wouldn't rely on support from your friends and family. It's always strangers that support you.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm like, with that question, you can go either like, is it they're not getting the treatments done off them, or is they're not supporting your actual business? Because then it could be like, say, they're only starting and they already have their lash tech and their nail tech.
I think we're at a time now where nearly everyone, like most people, have had their lashes done, and they know the difference between good lashes and bad lashes. I think that's where I got away with it, because when I started, I was their first time getting their lashes done off me.
They didn't
know
the
difference between good lashes and bad lashes. But now it is obviously work. But I think offer a removal straight after the service. Like, I'm even getting people, like, some people might disagree with me on this one, but if you have to spend the money to pay somebody to be a model for you, like, do what you have to do to get the pictures, the content, get that in. Like, especially if you're beginning now, would be, but friends and family, I feel like, and they also expect a lot for free when it comes to running a business.
Yeah.
And you need to remember that every family member or friend that you do for free is taking money out of your back pocket.
Like, I would say product costs. I always say that to students.
I would say to people, like, if you were working in a shop, you worked in a clothes shop, and your friend comes in and is like, oh, can I get that friend or family discount? And say it's like 20% off, whatever. And you go to your manager and you're like, my friend wants that 20% off, can I give it to her? Yeah, but that 20% is off your wages. Would you still give it to her then? You wouldn't, because that's coming out of your back pocket, your wages. But people forget that this is coming out of your back pocket. If you want this to be your business, it's not really a hobby. It's real. It could be a real job. Free sets constantly over time is going to take money out your back pocket, and it's costing your business. Like, you were paying for products, paying for this, that and the other. Like, obviously when you're starting off, yes, free sets, whatever, but do get into the habit of being like, listen, like, maybe a discount, or I'll give you a free set of lashes for your birthday and Christmas, you know, but it's full price. Like, I would prefer to pay my friend full for my nails rather than pay somebody else, because she's my friend. I would rather support her. So I think, but don't get bogged down if somebody doesn't come to you for their lashes. Like, I would rather somebody came to me wanting the lashes that I provided, rather than sitting there being like, oh, I have to get these lashes now because she's my friend, you know. Like, it just happens. Not everybody's going to support you, and I think you can't let that be the reason why you don't progress forward and you don't try and grow the business, because there is thousands, if not millions of people in this world that will eventually support your business when they see what you're doing, they see the work that you're putting in, and you're getting there, and then your friends will follow along. You'll see them all, they'll be like, oh yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's like people don't like to see you doing better than them.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of that.
You'll see your true friends. There is friends that will hate the fact that you're doing well, but they're not actually your friends. But don't get that twisted. Like, there is a difference between friends not supporting you because they hate seeing you successful, and maybe friends not sharing your picture on Instagram. You know, there's a massive difference. I think you can see straight.
People are busy. Doesn't mean that they're.
People are busy, but you can see, you can tell if somebody genuinely isn't supporting you because they don't like you, or they don't rate you as a friend, or don't value you, or you can tell someone who's just kind of not the supportive person.
I've had a lot. I was saying to earlier, I was making content, and that's one of the videos that I was doing, was about pricing. The amount of times I've had students ask me at the end of the course, oh, what do you think I should be charging? And like, I had a girl the other day turn around and say, oh, I'm charging €20 for a lash lift and €40 for a brow lamination and lash lift, or 35. And that's what I was just like, what? I was like, the products are costing you your time. You're not even putting that. And then obviously, if you're doing it from home, you have not as many overheads. But then if you go and try open a salon, you can't.
I think you can never, like, when we talk about pricing in courses, I can never tell you this is how much you charge. You always have to sit down and get a page of your income and a page of your expenses, and put the two against each other. Look at it on a monthly basis, or a weekly basis, or a daily basis. See how much you are spending doing your business, and then ask yourself, how much am I worth? Like, I need to pay myself after all those expenses are paid for, and I need to make sure that I'm making a profit, because if you're only making, after all them expenses are paid, and you're only making minimum wage, why did you pay for a course to provide that service when you probably didn't need to pay for a course to work somewhere that would offer you minimum wage? Like, there is jobs out there that you don't need a course for to earn minimum wage. I think if you are going to offer something that you've invested a lot of money into, like, you deserve a little bit more than minimum wage for that service and for that expertise, that skill. I think people are just charging cheap because they're competing with everybody else, and they're not looking. At the start, I was that person. I still hate numbers. I was always in snots and tears doing my maths homework, always leaving school sick, because when we started learning something new about maths, I didn't like numbers. And I think a lot of us, like a lot of my students, are like, oh, I'm the same. We sometimes go into the same industry because we don't really gel well with school, maths, whatever. And then we just run on autopilot. We just charge what everybody else is charging, and we'll just stick with that.
You're not actually looking at your costings and stuff.
I couldn't thought of anything worse than sitting down and doing my numbers when I was starting off. And that's what a lot of lash techs are like. They're like, oh, I have to sit down and do my numbers. Once you get into it, you're like, wow, I'm not earning barely anything here for the work that I'm putting in, for the time I'm posting, you have to think about like you're posting on your social media all the time, you're investing in the course, then you've your reoccurring costs. Now you might not have rent because you're starting out at home, which is fine, but just take into consideration you need to pay for your products and your skill and your expertise, and the more valuable you are to a client, the more you should be charging.
Yeah, and then you mentioned there like, oh, if you're earning the same amount as working anywhere like for minimum wage, but then you're working for yourself, you're taking on all the other stuff that comes with it, with working for yourself, where if you just went somewhere that paid you minimum wage, you clock off at 5 and you're just doing that job.
Now I think some people are like, but I love my job, but you do deserve to be paid a decent amount to live.
You're basically working for free.
To live. It's to live. And I know it's easy, like when you're younger, like when I was young, I was 17, I'd get my 20 or 30 euro and I'd be like, 20, 30 euro. Like you think because you're putting that money in your back pocket, you're like, that's my money and I'm making 30 euro an hour. It's much better than a tenner. I was making 6 euro an hour in retail when I was 17. You think you're getting that money, but you're not. You don't think about all the costs that come out at the end of the week or the end of the month. And it was only when I sat down and actually got myself an accountant, I was like, oh my God, I'm making nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah, I feel like for me, when I started working from home, I think for like the first few months, I think I was only charging like 15, like so bad.
Yeah.
And and then I kept going off and buying all these products, and I'm like, why do I never have money?
Yeah.
Sitting there like, what is going on? And I'm constantly doing appointments now, like, because obviously that money comes in, and you have to, obviously you're using up the stock, you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's just grasping, right? Like if I'm going to run a business, I need to take it serious. I need to start looking at my figures. I think you really need to know your figures, know how many sets of lashes you need to do to break even. So that means to cover all your costs, and then you're making a profit after that. So you do need to be covering your costs and making a profit for the time that you spend, and put it against even the hours that you put in, and just see, is that worth it? You know?
Yeah, and then plus, like, you're paying tax on top of whatever.
Oh yeah, I think people forget that, like, you're paying tax on the profit. So at the end of the year,
you're not even getting that 20 whatever if you're actually going to charge that.
No, and not at all. And I think the public or like the customers don't understand that as well when it comes to lashes and nails.
That's literally my video.
I think it's very dumbed down, like the beauty industry, and people don't understand the costs that are involved. People don't think it's a real job. So yeah, it's just educating people.
Yeah, I feel like that's with the salon, like I remember I'd put the price up by like say €5 or something, and there was like people ringing in giving out like saying that is absolute like extortion, like, and I was like, do you know what, I was like, I feel like going live on my story and like naming out every single overhead, and then actually saying this is what we're left with by the time you pay out wages and everything else, where people think that like that money you're handing over, you're putting that in your back pocket and you're off to the shops.
Like, and I think they need to remember as well that like you don't have to get your lashes done, you don't have to get your nails done, you don't have to go to my salon, you know, like if you put up your prices, it's for a reason, and it's to cover certain costs so that you can stand in that salon and provide that service. There's such thing as inflation, like people's bread goes up, people's milk goes up, like over time things go up, but doesn't mean that the beauty industry doesn't go up either. Like all our products go up, all our expenses go up, so sometimes we need to stay on top. We don't want to sometimes put our price up, but we do
feel bad.
We do it to stay afloat and, you know, keep the business alive, because there's no point if we're not making anything. We don't just do it because we love it, and you know, we do have to make money.
And what was one of the other questions that you got asked then?
I think it was about courses. So the difference in US and Ireland. How easy it is to become a lash technician nowadays, training in Ireland compared to the USA, for example.
I feel like I've seen a video on that now. Obviously, I'm not from the US, but I think it's longer to actually get certified and stuff over there.
It's more regulated over there, I feel. Like Ireland and the UK is not really regulated when it comes to lash courses here. It's a lot cheaper to become certified here. It's a lot quicker. You don't need a license. You don't need to be an esthetician. Like over there, you need to do your esthetician course first, which is like probably like a year, 12 months. And then you have to go do the lash course, but then you have to apply for your lash license. I think it depends on the state, but I think you're paying for that lash license as well. So I think that's why they charge the prices that they charge over there, because it's it costs them more to be a lash technician.
The courses as well, like a course for just say a classic lash course is €1,000, $1,500.
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive than here.
But I feel like it's valued more over there.
It is.
Where here people expect, like, if you were to go off, I always do say that, like, if you were to go off and get your Botox done and they said €300, you wouldn't blink.
No.
You'd hand it over because it's normal.
Yeah.
Where everyone is charging so little here that if someone puts their prices up,
become normal.
Everyone's like, what?
Yeah. It's because it didn't cost them much to do the course that they're like, oh, like, I can just charge this, or someone around the corner is charging this price, so I'll just charge that. But yeah, the courses are a lot, like, you can literally get courses for like €20 these days, like online or whatever, and they're so much cheaper. But you do, in a sense, you do pay for what you get. Like, I look at things, I'm like, if it is a lot cheaper, I should expect less, you know, from that course. Or like, the more detail and the more expenses some, like, an academy is putting into the course, it has to be more expensive. You know, to cover their costs. Like, the more products they put into the kit or the more time they spend with you in the academy, the price has to go up. So you're getting more if you pay more, essentially. That's why I would see it.
Yeah.
Now, some people can be odd with their prices, but like, and could just charge whatever they want for nothing. But
yeah, like, that's what I always say, like, I'd love to do like much longer courses.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to put your price up to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I think it is a scary step forward because you're looking at everybody else. Like, for me, for example, when I first was looking for my lash course, I just clicked on the first thing that I seen on Google. I didn't read. I was 17 at the time and I was immature back then, and I didn't care to read what it was about, what was included. I think it is important to spread, like, learn, like, read what your course is, what's included in your course. Read if it's accredited. My first course wasn't accredited. Like, it's just, it is looking at other courses and being like, oh, should I make it longer? Then I have to put my prices up. But I think if you are providing that value, people will pay for that.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes then if someone doesn't do lashes, they probably don't really know what they're actually looking at.
This is the thing, when you teach lashes, they're like, whoa, I didn't know that this was what was involved with lashes. They just literally thought it was sticking on individual lashes
ever,
like, they thought it was like, you know, the ones you buy in pennies and you just stick them on. They thought it was the same glue. They thought it was the same type of lash. They thought it would take you an hour, 20 minutes. Like, they're like, this is so much information. Like, there is a lot of information when you do a lash course, and people don't know, like, until they do the course, they're like, I did not expect this. I didn't expect it. I thought I was going to be able to do my own lashes. And,
Now I feel like the lashes and beauty courses have definitely, like, gotten, there's more information and all given them now.
Yeah, I think it's stepping up. It's definitely come a long way from when I did my course.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we did 3 hours theory, an hour lunch, and I practiced on the girl beside me and she practiced on me for like 40 minutes, and that was my first course. You know, it's come a long way, and even the kit that I got back then compared to the kits that I'm seeing today in people's courses, it's come such a long way from then. There's a lot more detail, and I think social media has created that influence of, oh God, she's putting that in that course, that's a good idea, maybe I'll add that into my course, or she's doing that many days, maybe I'll do that. And I think it is getting somewhere. There still is some courses that aren't great, but there is really good courses now in Ireland and the UK, and it's getting somewhere. We are growing as an industry and we're bettering ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I felt. I think when I done my lash course, it was kind of literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, is that the one that you said that wasn't accredited?
Yeah.
That wasn't the
No,
accredited?
it wasn't. I had to go back and retrain.
Mine was accredited and the manual was like 5 pages long.
It's very easy. It was very easy to get accredited as well, and there's accreditation companies that you can just do like a quick course online in the UK and get accredited. But to get my accreditation, I was like a year, I think 13, 14 months to get my accreditation to say you're a qualified educator now.
There's accreditation companies, I'm not going to mention who.
Yeah.
But there's accreditation companies like that are just, I seen one that you can just randomly set up and it actually doesn't mean anything. So like you could actually just be paying for an accreditation company, but that's not actually a known.
You have to do your research. You have to really do your research on your accreditation companies.
Yeah, like there's been 1 or 2 courses that I done and I went off, and some insurances won't ask you for the certificates and then some do. Where if they don't ask you, doesn't mean it doesn't matter. If someone puts in a claim against you, then they're going to turn around and say, show me your certs. And then they're going to turn around and be like, right, well, you're actually not qualified.
Yeah.
And they probably won't want to cover you. They actually say that, because I said it before. I'm like, oh, how do you need to send me certs over? And they're like, no, it's up to yourself to make sure you're fully qualified. Where other insurance companies will ask you, and I got told before, them they actually don't mean anything. And I'm like, but they're accredited. And they're like, well, that's not a really known accreditation company.
Some people think accreditation means just slap a accreditation stamp on it, and we're accredited. Like they don't understand how accreditation works and the process involved to become accredited. And a student could be like, oh, they're an accredited course because they said they are, but where's the guarantee? You know, you are taking a risk.
I had a girl working for us before, and she went off and done a lash course, and she was about to start doing lashes, and I was like, now make sure that's accredited. And she was like, why wouldn't it be? Like, all of us were brand new like lash techs in the course. And then I was like, well, just text her and ask her, because I want to make sure, like, because I'll have to send it off to me insurance and stuff like that. And she texted her and asked her, and she was just like, oh, I was assuming you were already qualified. And she was in the height of it. She was like, what do you mean? She was like, none of us knew how to even hold the tweezers. And then there's another, there's so many people that I've heard that they'll go off and do a course, or someone, I know of someone that has done it to loads of people, but then someone will turn around and say, oh, I done a course with her, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're not actually qualified, but I actually don't even want to tell you that. Like, it's
hard. You just figure it out. Like, I only figured it out like 2 years after.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 2 years ago.
2 years after, I was looking at the certificate and I was like, there's no accreditation stamp on that. And I only didn't know what accreditation was when I first started. And then I had rang an academy that I knew of, and I was like, listen, like, this happened. They're like, Ava, this has happened so many times. We've had so many calls. She was like, don't worry. I was like, I feel like a fraud. I was like, I've been doing lashes. I've been charging for 2 years. And she's like, no, come in, do the course. We'll accredit you. Like, I had to pay out, but like, it's just, it happens to so many people. So, and some accreditation companies, like ABT, like you can search up the academy in ABT's website to check if they actually are accredited, because ABT's accreditation stamp, you can grab it off Google and put it onto a certificate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think it is good. On Google,
I think it's good to search. Now, a starter student might not know this, so it is nice that they have this podcast now to know if you want to check if an academy is accredited. Go on to ABT is the main one for Ireland.
Yeah,
as far
there's
as I know.
There's a few
other ones. But if they are saying, listen, we're accredited by this company, maybe go on to that accreditation company's website. You could reach out to them and just ask, I'm just checking, is this academy accredited with you guys, so that I can make sure I can get insurance. Basically, if anyone doesn't understand accreditation, make sure that you can then go on to be insured by that accreditation company after you've completed your course. And it just makes sure that that academy sent over the right documentation to be able to be a qualified educator and academy, and that all their manuals were okay and stuff like that. Everything's good, what they're teaching you and stuff is correct. So you can just go on and just search up, just ask the course, who are you accredited with, and then you can search up.
That's what I was going to say. It's not enough to just turn around and say, is this course accredited? Because half the time they'll probably just say turn around and say, all right, okay, who is it with? Because then
you can search and do your research then.
It's
just educating more people now that sometimes a lot of the time you have to do a lot more research to figure out who to do your course with. I would recommend.
And I feel like I'll always get loads of girls that are under 16 to ask to, can they do a course? And they don't understand it. I'm like, if I was to let you do my course and put the date on the certificate before you were 16, if anything was to happen, they'd look at the date, you weren't actually 16, you were actually not qualified. So that's what I'm like, I could do a teens course with you, but I can give you an attendance cert. I actually cannot qualify.
No.
Like, and there's no other, like, if someone turns around and says, it's an accredited course and I can't teach it and they're under 16, there's no company that actually allows that.
No.
It would be an attendance cert that you're actually getting. So I feel like people do, they don't realise that, especially the girls. They'll see girls on Instagram doing lashes and they're like, oh, I want to do that. Because I do get a lot of text messages and I feel bad, and like,
but it's
that's the way it is.
To grow your business, I mean, like, have a personal brand, know your audience, know who you're targeting, make sure that you're making content for that audience. focus on your work, especially like even when we were going back to prices, like your work needs to match up to your prices as well. So upscale, put in the work, put in the practice. It's not going to come overnight. You need to be patient. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. If they're on year 4, why would you compare yourself to them? It's you against you when you're a beginner, when you're growing your business. Because I know the girl that had put it in, she literally only qualified with me last week. You need to be patient, and you need to just put in the work and want it bad enough. Like I think once you want it bad enough, you will put in the work. But don't be looking at everybody else and what are they doing and what are they doing. It's your own journey, and as long as you're bettering yourself every week, making sure that you're getting better every week and you're learning from your mistakes and all of that, I think you'll grow.
I feel like people expect to do the course and look like someone who's in the industry years.
Literally, no.
That is all.
Now you will compare yourself to others. Like we're all like that. We all compare ourselves to other people, but like especially at the start, I think that did help me when I started. I didn't actually follow any other lash technicians when I started off. I just followed all my potential clients to get them in. I think at the start I just didn't, because I didn't see there actually was a lot more lash technicians in Tallaght that I knew about, so I didn't follow anybody really, and I think that helped me stay in my own lane. So sometimes you don't have to go and follow absolutely everybody. Then I think TikTok is very overwhelming as well. When you're in lash TikTok, you're like, oh my god, there's this like hack thing that my teacher didn't teach me, or some people make up stuff as well on the internet, and it gets very overwhelming. So I think just stay in your lane, like focus on getting clients in your area, and you'll grow it. There's no point in comparing yourself, and Instagram and TikTok can really, really affect your progress. And I feel like some of the stuff that's on especially TikTok that'll go viral and people will just keep making it, and it doesn't mean it's true. Like, no, anyone, if you think about it, anyone can get on the internet and say anything. You can't believe everything that you see on the internet. Like if you are unsure, text your trainer and ask, is this true? Is this false? Like there was viral videos going around for a while, like, oh, if your client's allergic to lash extensions, use this, tell them to use this and they won't be allergic anymore. Like, I'm like, what was it? I can't remember, but it was viral anyways, and that would have actually convince a lot of people to then go and especially say, you can come back to me now, you're not allergic, like, or you can just use this and it'll get rid of your allergy. But that's such false information. Like we're not GPs, like we actually can't diagnose anybody or like prescribe them with anything or advise them to get this cream and get that eye drop. Like we're not allowed to do that. We're not qualified to do that. You have to send someone to a GP if they're allergic, and the GP gets to decide if you can go back and get your lashes done or not us. So when something goes viral, now it was taken down, but some things will take ages for it to be taken down if it's false information. So you need to be careful. Get taken down, it did. A lot of big brands like stitched the video and got out and was like, this is false information, but it might not have reached some people, and some people might have gone out and do it. So was it a cream that you put on? Was it eye drop, I think, or it might have been a cream? Because I heard something, and it was like, just put this on your clients before and after the appointment, and they won't get the allergy. It was like it extracted something. Someone said that to me about it the other day, actually. So there is a lot of false information out there, and I think it's so easy to get sucked in. Like even I was doing volume techniques, and I was like, you need to pick the one that suits you best. Don't go onto TikTok. If you think the say on the strip technique is your technique, don't go onto a viral TikTok and see that she's pinching and be like, oh, I better to pinch now because her viral went video, and that's probably what's going to get me the set to look like that. It's whatever suits you best, whatever you use. Everybody uses as well. Everyone uses different tweezers, different types of products to get them the best set that they can produce. Just because someone's TikTok went viral doesn't mean that you have to do exactly what they're doing. Someone could have their tile set up different. Someone could have them on their hand. Someone could have them on a tile. Some people have them on the forehead. Like everybody has their own way. I do always say never do that. That's an unhygienic. I always say that. Everybody has their own little ways of doing things. Yeah, and like, even with glue, like everybody has their favourite glue, but there's no such thing as the best lash glue in the world. And it all depends on your environment. You have to pick one that suits you and your environment and that you work well with to produce the best work that you possibly can. I think it can be quite overwhelming jumping into lash TikTok and lash Instagram, and then you're faced with all this. So maybe at the start, don't go ham and start following everybody in the industry. I think focus on building your clientele, producing great content yourself, so that your head doesn't get too filled up with too much and you're just like, wow, like I can't I'm not at that point. I'm not at this point.
Yeah,
I should be doing
I'm not
that.
good enough and
I
all
don't
that,
have that lash bed. I don't have that that cart or that trolley or that nice light. It's not about the fancy equipment you have at the start. Like, you need to focus on your technique and bring it back to the basics and make sure that the work is good. And then you build. And see what else can I give to my clients, you know?
That's what I always say with the super bonders and primers and stuff like that. They're optional. Like,
it's not going to fix your work. If your lash is attached like that, it's not going to fix anything. Like, so it's all down to you and the basics. Yeah. Making sure that your work is spot on. Then you can experiment with all of them.
Because like for years I didn't use any of them things. Like, your retention should be good.
I still don't. Yeah.
Without it, like just because your lashes aren't lasting, it doesn't mean it's because you don't have
the bulk of your retention is your work, and then it's your environment, and then you might get an extra few days with a super bonder.
Yeah, that's literally what I say. It adds on.
Super bonder is not creating 3 weeks retention, 3 weeks. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why to grow your business is just taking it one day at a time, making sure you're getting better every day. That you're not getting sucked into what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, and so with the Lash Market then?
Yeah, so I started doing events a few years ago. We started with the Beauty Boss Brunch. So that was with myself and Sophie. And I
remember that.
Yeah, so I always had a great community of lash artists on my Instagram. I didn't gatekeep anything when I was starting out. Like, I was a little bit of a brand ambassador at the time, so I was like, this is the glue I use. In a time where no one was giving out what glue they used, they were like, I don't want to share my glue with her. She'll be robbing all my clients and getting great retention, because our education wasn't like good back then. So I was promoting a lot of my stuff, sharing everything on my Instagram. So with that came a lot of followers of lash technicians, and people were like, you're mad, like sharing what you do and sharing tips and tricks. And then I was sharing other people's work, being like, oh, I love these, like insane, da, da, da. Like, people used to think I was mad, but with that came a good tight-knit community of lash artists, and I got along with everybody. So I loved the thought of networking events. Like, I was never a girl like, oh, you do lashes, like we can't be friends. I was never like that. So we did the Beauty Boss Brunch. That was like a brunch style event. Sophie's life coach she was talking about, just more like life coaching, mentoring things. And I kind of got into like the businessy side. We made a networking event. I met loads of people that day as well, new people. Fiona had come up from Cork for that event. I'd been on back and forth with her through Instagram. So I met Fiona at that event in person. And then a couple of years later, then me and Fiona kept showing up at the same networking events, like in London and stuff like that. So Fiona reached out to me and was like, will we do an event for specifically lash artists? Because there's nothing in the industry for just lash artists. It's always like beauty, like the beauty show, or, you know, like the Beauty Boss Brunch was beauty business owners. So we decided to do a lash specialised event. And there was no, even at the beauty show, there was not a lot of lash stalls a few years back. It's only really kind of starting to come out now. Lashes are tapping into the beauty show. So we decided to create an event where you could shop Irish brands. Not a lot of people actually knew about Irish brands at that time as well. Everyone was still ordering from places where they were getting charged customs, and they didn't get to see what was available here in Ireland in terms of Irish lash brands. So we were like, right, at least they can get to touch and feel the products and test them out and see if they like them and discover new brands. Then we were getting speakers on stage to help them, you know, learn something new. We got like not just lash speakers on the stage, like accountants and life coaches, stuff like that. So that was really good. They could learn at the event and then shop and network with each other. We were doing little networking exercises and stuff. So it's just a really good event, and we're going to have another one next year. And it just went really well. Like, it was definitely needed in the industry because lashes is still so new. And there's loads of events for nails and makeup and hair because they've been around for years and years and years. But the lash industry is still so new that I think it was right that we were like, right, okay, let's do a lash specialised event. And it went so well. Amazing turnout. So it went really, really good. And I'm really excited for the Lash Market.
So what did you say? Is there going to do one next year? Yeah,
there's one being planned for next year. Something bigger and better. We haven't released anything about that yet, but it's in the works, and we're really, really excited for that.
Amazing. I'm dying to see now.
Yeah.
You'll have to spill the beans now after this.
I know.
But is there anything new coming up for Ava Lashes?
Well, we're tapping into the UK now, so I'm bringing masterclasses over to the UK, and that's coming up in September. We're doing a tour, well, it's just me, a tour around the UK. So I'm really excited for that. more products, more courses, and yeah, just continuing to keep on top of everything and provide as much as a high quality service and products I can to everybody.
Thanks so much for coming on, Ava.
Thanks for having me, Demi.
So if anyone is looking out to reach out, where can they find you?
Instagram, TikTok, the website, it's all Ava Lashes. Yeah, if you just type in Ava Lashes, I'll come up. So yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Demi.